You are listening to KSG podcast. This is a short, crisp, concise, edited editorial that is exam-oriented for civil services aspirants. In this podcast, we are going to talk about China's new border law, and source for the content is Anirban Bhaumik's article for the Deccan Herald. China has adopted a new land border law with the professed objective of standardizing and strengthening land borders, ensuring security and stability of land borders, promoting good neighborly friendship, exchanges and cooperation, and safeguarding national sovereignty, security, and territorial integrity. The new law will come into force on the 1st of January 2022. China's new land border law was adopted by the Standing Committee of its 13th National People's Congress on 23rd of October 2021, with the professed objective of standardizing and strengthening land borders, ensuring security and stability of land borders, promoting good neighborly friendship and exchanges and cooperation with neighboring countries, and safeguarding national sovereignty, security, and territorial integrity. The new law will come into force on the 1st of January next year. It follows the Maritime Police Law and Maritime Traffic Safety Law, which came into force on the 1st of February and 1st of September this year. Now, here is why India is worried about it. China's new land border law says sovereignty and territorial integrity of the nation are sacred and inviolable. The law emphasizes on the role of the citizens, particularly people living in the border areas, and the civilian institutions in supporting the People's Liberation Army and the People's Armed Police Force, which have been assigned the responsibility of guarding land borders, resisting armed aggression, and deal with major emergencies and terrorist activities on land borders. It says that the state shall take effective measures to strengthen border defense construction, support economic and social development of the border, and open to the outside world, promote the action of strengthening the border and enriching the border, improve the level of border public services and infrastructure construction, improve the production and living conditions of the border, and encourage and support border residents in frontier production and life, and promote the coordinated development of border defense construction and border economy and society. China shares land borders with 14 nations, and it claims to have demarcated boundaries with 12 of them. It only has undemarcated boundaries with India and Bhutan. So, although China's new land border does not explicitly target any country, it indicates that President Xi Jinping's government in Beijing will take a hard-line stand on its boundary disputes with India and Bhutan. India claims that China is illegally occupying about 38,000 square kilometers of its territory in Aksai Chin, which borders eastern Ladakh. Pakistan also ceded to China about 5,180 square kilometers of Indian territory in 1963. China also claims approximately 90,000 square kilometers of Indian territory in Arunachal Pradesh and about 2,000 square kilometers in Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. China claims 764 square kilometers of areas of Bhutan, 269 square kilometers in the western region, and 495 square kilometers in the north-central region of the country. China last year upped the ante and also claimed the Sakteng Wildlife Sanctuary in eastern Bhutan as part of its own territory. The 72-day-long standoff between Indian Army and Chinese People's Liberation Army at Doklam Plateau in western Bhutan, and the continuing standoff between the two in eastern Ladakh since April to May 2020 renewed focus on the communist country's boundary disputes with its two neighboring nations. India-China negotiations to resolve the boundary dispute remained stalled since the beginning of the standoff in eastern Ladakh. The talks between the military commanders to end the standoff also hit an impasse last month. China's boundary talks with Bhutan also remained stalled after the 2017 Doklam standoff, but the two nations of late agreed on a roadmap to resolve the territorial disputes. Now, how did India react to the new land border law of China? India asserted that the new land boundary law, unilaterally adopted by China, would not have any bearing on bilateral agreements put in place to resolve territorial row between the two neighboring nations, as well as to maintain peace and tranquility in the border areas. It reminded that the two sides had agreed to seek a fair, reasonable, and mutually acceptable resolution to the boundary question through consultations and concluded several bilateral agreements, protocols, and arrangements to maintain peace and tranquility along the LAC in India-China border areas in the interim. That's it for this podcast. Thank you so much for listening. To join KSG India courses and to crack the IELTS exam, visit ksgindia.com. You can also get a PDF of this video on ksgindia.com. Thanks for listening.